Oh yeah, boy. It's a video of Jumpin in 2016. That is actually the name of the classic video today. It was made by Pickles, who is an interesting chap. Never met him. I was drawn to his videos because I got a sense that we move quite similarly, and I really like this one because of how kind of minimalist it is. It has these three very moody, spacious instrumentals, and there's not much emotion in the video. There's just this very laid back tone to it. Very hip hop, apart from a hideous bail at one point when the drums kick into the second beat, which took me completely by surprise. Oh. This one came out at the end of 2016, which is the same year that I visited Dublin with my friend David Fox, and we went to go and train there. And yeah, it's a shame I missed Glenn, but I'm sure we'll meet one day. Yes. Today, we've got another figurehead of the Irish scene, David Willis, who's a friend of Glenn's. And I've known this guy for a few years now after meeting him in Dublin and training with him there. He's got a crazy fast style with his lines, and he's been absolutely killing it over the last year, particularly in lockdown, I feel. I wanted to delve into his mind a little bit more, especially after we had a small online debate about what draws people to travel. Is it the spots, is it the people, or is it something else? So lock in, enjoy. This is episode 33 with David Willis. It's actually like the Callum and Flynn one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was listening to that today.
I mean, you'll hear it because I had to basically, like, they didn't have headphones in, and they literally Callum just had his phone on the table, and they sat on the sofa, and so I had to basically decide whether I wanted to just take the Zoom recorded audio for the three of us, sorry, which would have been kind of like garbly.
Yeah.
Or I take their recorded audio and mine, and then go through every single bit and try and give weight to each person that's talking and shit like that.
Well, it sounded good. I listened to it. I could hear where you struggle just when they're talking. I'll sometimes hear you in the background like yeah, and it's like kind of garbly, as you said. But apart from that, you did a great job.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's a lot of work.
It was a lot. I've never made anything that's 3 hours before, so
like 3 hour. I know that like that ends up being like 9 hours of editing if something's 3 hours, doesn't it? It's
at least, yeah.
Dedication.
Got to do it. Okay, we're back. Hello, David.
Yes.
We've got you today. Big fat Willis.
Big fat Willis. That Instagram name, it was funnier. Like when I made it, I was like super skinny. Like I was tiny. I was like a really small boy. So it was funnier because it was like more ironic. I'm kind of normal size now. like not too fat, not too skinny. So it's less ironic. But yeah, it was like.
Yeah. Well, if it makes a difference, it makes me laugh most times that I see it come up. So
a lot of people think I was like trying to trick people into thinking it was like Big Fat Willies. I wasn't. Yeah. That wasn't my intention. Whatever.
So to start with, it's Mental Health Awareness Week at the moment, and the theme is nature. Is being connected with nature.
Oh.
Now, you had an interesting experience with nature in Blanchardstown.
I like that. I like that segue.
I know. Yeah, I was working on that one. So tell me about what happened there for the listeners.
Yeah, I used my head as well, so it all ties in. So there's actually a famous bush in Dublin. There's like a bush. That wasn't the first time that bush has been used. So that's near one of the top like parkour guys, like who's just been in the scene for years in Dublin, is Pickles. His name's Glenn, but we call him Pickles. He's the chief of the parkour scene in Ireland, and he lives beside this bush that's like famously bouncy. It's like it's literally like it's made of rubber, and it doesn't get injured either. It's like you jump on it, you dive onto it, and it doesn't even get damaged. And so he said he's spotted people for backflips using that bush. Like people have done their first backflip by like, you know, the way they'd use like those big roundy like things in gymnastics. Like he's spotted people, he B-twists over it, but like use it as like a rolling block. And apparently it had been talked about for a few months. There was kind of a dive roll gap to the bush. And in the end, I don't think what I did could be considered a dive roll, because like there was no hands or arms involved. It was kind of like pencil.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite clip of all time. Yeah,
it is quite something. I'll insert the audio here.
Oh my fucking god!
just the commitment is mad. Like, how did you prepare for that? How did you prep it? Or did you?
That was like, I obviously had, like, I rolled over it, like I jumped and rolled from like the side where there was no wall, like trying to make it as far as I could, but it was actually kind of dangerous.
Yeah, fully.
That one, like, I just knew I could do it. I thought about, like, if it was a dive Kong, I think I would have done the dive Kong. And then I think the dive roll, while like you do have to rotate more, like it's always going to be a little bit easier. It was scary, but I was so hyped to do it. Like, I'm just glad the bush caught me, because it was like 50-50 as to whether this there was a lot of impact. It was 50-50 as to whether I would actually sink. But I knew I would make it. I never thought I was coming up short, you know. I'd actually love to know from your perspective, like, what goes through your mind watching that clip, because like did you probably don't know on the run up what the hell's gonna happen.
I mean, yeah, I was quite taken aback, I'll put it that way, when I first saw it.
Okay.
Just the speed, like I was like, okay, what's he doing? Like, what are you going for? And then realized he literally diving head like, first at a bush.
It was like cliff diving speed, so
yeah. It felt a bit cliff divey, actually. It was in that kind of realm of like weirdness. But yeah, was it like a once is forever type thing? Did you do it again, or?
No, I did it, and then I spent like half an hour trying to convince everybody else that was there to do it. I was like, you have it. I was like, how funny would it be if we all did this tonight? Yeah. But there were no takers.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. But yeah, it looks like a challenge and a half. So yeah, if you're listening from Ireland or making a trip over to Blanchardstown to do the famous bush dive, then yeah, see if you can find it and have a go.
That clip when I went through all those like flipping kings pages, like it got shared.
Oh really? Yeah. That's sick. Yeah,
I was getting notifications for a couple of months on that one.
Yeah,
which I kind of wish it had been like some legitimate parkour, but I'll take what I can get.
It's without don't take this the wrong way, but it's very much like a viral type clip, isn't it? It's a very like a holy shit, what is he doing type clip. But yeah, so one of the reasons I wanted to get you on is because I was inspired by a brief bit of messaging we did recently about why people travel to different places. I posed the question in not the last episode, because that's not out yet, the one before that, with Hive, and basically was asking them what motivates you to travel somewhere. Do you find that it's the spots, or do you find that it's the people? And it was really interesting seeing what people put. People kind of responded to this, and it wasn't I think it was like 60-40 or something like that towards people. So most people who responded said that they'd rather go somewhere because of the community there rather than the spots. David was in the other camp, but
As
then
one of the selfish pricks.
yeah, that goes for the spots. But I think it's a really interesting little topic, because I'm thinking more about how we get people to travel around and why people travel. So tell the listeners what your kind of view was and what you said, because you phrased it quite well. And if you can remember what you said, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think I asked you then, would you rather see all the spots in the world with the same little crew, or would you rather see go and train in the same spot every single time, but you've got different influences and different people coming in every single session? My choice is definitely clear with that one. It's like same crew and visit every spot in the world, which is like, if you think about Star, like that's kind of what they're doing. They obviously have jams and stuff, but they're like the same group of guys just like hitting all these different countries, but they meet community, so I guess it's not exactly comparable.
Yeah, because for me, I think I'm more on the people side, because for instance, a few of the guys from Team Reality and Nova City in the north of England came over to York recently, and we went to a spot that's one of our most trained spots. It's called Talbot Bins, very famous for us.
Yeah.
It's just like a kind of grotty estate with some bins that we move out of the way to do different jumps and stuff.
That's the one I want to visit. That's the one I know from all your videos. Yeah.
Ah, there we go. See, it's catching on. There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so cool, because we've not had many visitors obviously over the last year and stuff. But yeah, within like minutes they'd found stuff that we'd never seen before, and I was like, yes. And they unlocked a few things that I've been looking at for years, and they just done it. I was like, cool, okay, so that's you've just achieved my dream right there. But so I do really get a lot out of people seeing your spot with fresh eyes and coming up with new ideas and stuff. So if I could only train there forever and just have different people, I don't know, I'd be quite happy. I'd love to see what Benj would do, or Remy Gerard, or like Leo Urban, or all these people. But yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think also maybe there's an aspect to this, which is the challenges. Because people do travel to other places for the challenges. So if you think of somewhere like Lys, you've got Manpower, you've got like the Dame de Lac, you've got the famous Cap Pass Prix at the red, like the Rouge walls, like the kind of 3 walls. And so I think people do challenge. Yeah, people do travel for the challenges.
The 180 descent. I'd love to do that one. Down the balconies.
Oh,
they're like the 180s the whole way down. I think that's around Lys.
It's no joke, actually. It's no joke that it's. Have you been to Lys before?
I haven't. I've watched so many videos that I feel like I know the spots.
Mystical place, mate. Mystical. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. It feels like you're in some weird like film when you're there. Just seeing all the. You can feel that parkour has been there. Like it sounds a bit woo woo, but you go around and you can see the architecture. It's absolutely no wonder like that people started to think like, oh, can I get from there to there?
See, I feel like that about London, and like London might be a bit more casual for you, but like that's the only real parkour trip I've actually done. Is it? Yeah, to London. No, I've done a couple, but London blew me away, and like seeing IMAX. And just like you have so many things in your head about like what's being done and what you want to do, and then you get there and it's like, oh, this is everything's twice as big as it was in my head.
It's like with places like that, you kind of need 2 trips in a way. You need one trip just to kind of
sightseeing,
see what it's like, get a feel for it, and the second trip it's like, okay, I've gained some information now, because it's very pressured, being in that like state of mind, thinking, oh, I need to do this while I'm here,
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like, I really don't like that type of pressure. As you said, it's okay the second time if you decide you want to do something and you're like, no, I need one more visit, and you come back if you've already decided from being in person. But if you've decided you're going to do something from watching videos, I think then there's definitely an aspect of danger there.
I actually I listened to a song. This is so random. I listened to a song today by. Okay, let me just quickly get this. I listened to a song today by Paul Anka, who's like an old school singer, kind of crooner type singer, like blues sort of thing. And I was listening through one of his albums from like the 60s, and he made this song called Destiny, I think it's called. Let me just double check actually. It's called You Are My Destiny, right?
Okay.
And I listened to it, and you know when you just have a flood of inspiration from a song?
Yeah.
And when I do Manpower, I'm using this song. It is perfect. It's
Are you
perfect.
going to blast it on a speaker?
Well, no, I mean, sorry, if I make a video of like of
Yeah.
doing Manpower.
But I like, do you know, I think his name's Jan. Is it Jan Schlappen is his Instagram? The guy, he does like the crazy big dive rolls from like roofs onto sand and stuff. I think his name is Jan or Jan.
Yeah.
But he has the like dive roll video, and he has I Need a Hero playing. But like in some of the clips, it's not just like in the video. You can tell he's actually blaring it on a speaker as he's doing the dive rolls, which I respect that so much. Like having a theme song that you play in person when every time you do a certain trick is just outrageous. I respect it.
That's jokes. Yeah. I have to say, over the years, I think we've definitely been on a similar wavelength with music. Like this stuff. I swear, sometimes you make little edits, and I'm like, shit, he just took that song.
Yeah, you said that about the Knowledge and Anderson .Paak one. So good. You should still make a video to that, because it's too good.
I had a really weird idea for that actually. I'm going on a tangent already, but I had this weird idea of like just a really emotional one, like literally the same shot of me lying down face on the ground in like different weird positions. So like with my head like in a puddle, just rain just smashing down, and I don't know. It sounds weird on paper, but I think with the music it might work. Yeah.
Throwback to planking. 2015.
Emotional
all over
planking.
Again. Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, I'll stop ratting on now. Yeah, how did you find your trip to Newcastle? Because that's when we saw each other last, and
yes,
when you entered the Northern Skill and Style competition. How did you find that whole experience?
That was like, the story behind that is actually extremely random, because my cousin, she works for the BBC as a reporter, and I guess she was just like looking for a story, and she knew I did parkour, and she must have just Googled like parkour in Newcastle and found you guys, found there was a competition on, and was like made a report for TV about it, and then invited me over. I had no idea you were going to be there until I think I saw you that day. And we knew each other from before. So yeah, that was just a weird little twist of fate. The competition I loved. I was a bit shocked at myself. I thought I was going to be all over the speed. I thought that was going to be my thing. I was going to love it. And then I hadn't really got any expectations for the others, but I ended up loving the skill. I don't know if it was because of how you guys designed it, like your format, I just thought was amazing. And like, I never felt pressure. I kind of felt like I was training with a bunch of friends. And then when it came time for the speed, I had a slight injury, but I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't compete. I didn't feel like I had to, and I felt like I would have been risking an injury. And seeing like Ben Reddington and David Nelms like literally flying across that place. I remember you saying on the day, you were like, we did not expect anyone to jump that gap. Like, we hadn't even considered it. I think there was like something from the very top of the gym across, and like it was nuts watching that. I was happy to just be a bystander and like sit back for that one.
And then with a little twist, I entered myself as you.
Yeah.
With a broken wrist. So I put on your cap and t-shirt, and then when they said David Willis next, I just ran out.
flew out of the bathroom like Clark Kent.
Yeah. That was jokes. But yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and hopefully we'll be able to do more of those, I think. And it was awesome that you traveled over. Like, that was wicked.
It was so good. And as I said, your format was like really good. really good, because I'm sure there's a lot of ways to get that wrong, and it also took like, it was no small task on your part to like set all those challenges and like organize things. So fair play. Was it you and Dean and Craig?
Yeah. So it was predominantly me and Dean, and yeah, shouts to Dean again. I'm very sad to say that he'll be leaving York within this year. He's off to do his last year of uni in Cambridge, like as a work placement. So yeah, it's he's been my boyo for the last few years in New York, and
So he's going to Cambridge.
yeah, he's doing like a chemistry thing in Cambridge.
At least we can be excited for Dean Cambridge vids. So
that's it, innit? Like, he'll be training with probably like the Ampy Sound lot, and maybe Phil, which would be cool.
I want to battle Dean. I think we should have a battle of the Splat Backs, because he's one of the guys I've been following that, like, I think we both have like big Splat Backs, and I want to see. I want to go head to head. I'm calling them out. I feel like Hulk Hogan calling you out.
The beef has started. The Splat Back beef has started. Dean, you better be ready.
Yeah.
That'll be. Yeah, I've seen. To be fair, like, I saw you do Cat Pass or something.
I did,
or something like that.
Cat Pass, Splat Back,
or
clear, and I kind of ended up doing a full twist, which was a happy accident. But yeah, I like playing with them. Like, it feels, it doesn't feel like it should work to like go with so much force into a wall and then end up like bouncing back higher and further than you originally went. But it's working, so I'm gonna keep experimenting with those.
Legit, man. Like, I remember seeing the first ones happening. I can't remember when. I want to say maybe 2017, 2018. I started seeing, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Someone from Spain, from the Spanish community, started doing these massive ones. I was like,
oh yes, I know who you're talking about, but I also can't remember his name.
Yeah. I'll maybe I can edit it in. He's an absolute beast. But he started doing them, and then Max from Stora started doing them, and I remember thinking, like, hang on a minute, that what? Like, so we can actually do that? You can actually bounce off a wall? Like, I honestly didn't realise, because I played around with splatting as a means to kind of get down, but not as a means to get back, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. I think there's been a version that I just call it the Philly D splat back, but it's where you, like, where he's striding on rails at Cambridge and then he goes 1 foot and then the other foot, and it's like, it's not quite a 180. It is kind of a splat, but it's like staggered. I think that had been around a little bit, but the definitely the 2-footed one, it's like the last couple of years it's really been like pushed.
Yeah, for sure. That one, actually, incidentally, if you ever go to Cambridge, horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
I'd say so.
And Phil did it in barefoot as well, which is
on square rails. I think they're square rails, aren't they? That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's just.
But yeah, so have you done much teaching? Like, have you done any kind of formal coaching, or have you done any kind of mentoring or help people with certain techniques, or?
Not officially.
Not officially, yeah.
No, the scene in Ireland, like, I live in Dublin. The scene is not big. Like, it's probably the smallest parkour scene in like Europe. I feel like that's how it feels. It's like there's probably 10 people in Dublin who like are regularly training, and very few like younger generations, which is partly like kind of our fault, because I guess there's no one who's like really set up classes and gotten things rolling. But then, like, I do feel like the government and stuff is to blame to an extent. Just there's no parkour facilities. The first parkour gym or parkour park in Dublin was built a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, but it actually, apparently it's quite bad. I haven't visited yet, but apparently like the sizing is off and stuff. So yeah, it's been a struggle. We've always been like a little bit behind, way behind the UK, and definitely a bit behind other European countries with like getting the ball rolling with stuff. Yeah.
Is there demand? Do you think? Do you think that there's kids and people that want to do it, that see you guys train and stuff, or?
There definitely is. Like, we've had people come up to us, like, you can tell from what kids are shouting that like they watch parkour videos on YouTube. But I guess we've just never organized any like formal classes, and that's the issue. I'm sure the demand is there, because the demand is there everywhere else, and like YouTube is global. It's not like kids aren't watching Star in Ireland. I guess it's just like the organization. And then I feel like most of us now in the community are at a stage where a lot of us are working full-time jobs. Like, I'm working Monday to Friday. I get to train once a week, which is like, I wish I could train twice a week. And then the thought of like coaching on my one training day, it's not that appealing, and I'm selfish. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, I guess. I guess it depends on the demographic, doesn't it, of the community, where you're at in your life. Because if you're all kind of working a lot and kind of in those structured type jobs, then there's less time to. But yeah, is there actually any like Irish certifications or anything like that for coaching?
No. So I did look into it, and like, we can get the Parkour UK certification, but that obviously involves traveling to London, and then you still have to get your, I think it's like a ton of coaching hours under a certified coach. So that would mean like we would have to go and live in the UK to get those coaching hours. There's I think 2 or 3 qualified coaches up north in Belfast, and there is a little gym up in Belfast. But the Republic doesn't have anything right now. So it's hard to break through that first wave of like coaches and gyms, you know.
What do you think could help that? Do you think it's a case of having more influencing people in the community who are like really good, like yourself? Do you think that's a part to play in getting more people interested, or do you think that perhaps more people need to travel over there? And what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just it needs 1 or 2 people who are gonna almost not dedicate their lives, but like dedicate the big bulk of their time to like pushing it and growing it. And like, it would help massively if we could have a government installed parkour park like outdoors, just as a place to coach. I think parents I think it's a different mindset a parent will have if their kid is going to a dedicated park or a gym to learn, as opposed to like wandering around the city with a bunch of older lads or girls or whatever.
Because I imagine from the rise of people like Conor McGregor and stuff, there's been a bigger interest in martial arts and boxing. That's
true. Yeah,
would you say that's fair?
Accurate. Yeah. So yeah, like, if someone could get to that level, which I think like George McGowan up north, I think he is at that level, and I'm sure like the community up there it's weirdly been a bit bigger in Belfast than it is in Dublin. And they have had more facilities. They've gone through a couple different phases of like gyms and parks. So yeah, if someone in Dublin could get to his level, that would be nice.
Well, yeah, because I've started doing some work with Parkour UK actually, and we had a meeting today, and we were talking about this kind of idea of like the structured community, which is the coaches, the gyms, the facilities, the more formal side of things. Then you have like the unstructured community. So you have like people who are, in inverted commas, in quotes, like influencers, you know, the big sort of names like Stora, Jimmy the Giant. And basically we're trying to look at how to engage the unstructured community, and how Parkour UK can help the unstructured community. Because Dan Newton, who's the CEO, kind of believes that the structured community has influence because the coaches directly, you know, affect their students, the people they're teaching. But the unstructured community, the main way they influence people is these big names, you know. I don't know what you think about that, but I thought it was really interesting that he kind of like he's an outsider to parkour, but then has seen this kind of like these two layers to it.
That makes
which I think
total
is-
sense. And like not like a lot of people would want to help, but they almost don't belong in that structured community you're talking about. Like I feel like I am not a good coach naturally, and like I also, as I said, like I'm working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. I don't feel like I have time to put that time in. But if it could just be like growing an Instagram and like pushing videos and then linking people to that structured community, like I think a lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah, man. I think so. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's interesting how, you know, we can feel part of a whole community, but what we actually do in that community can kind of make us feel slightly one way or the other. And I think that's why people are have quite an aversion to coaching, because it feels a little bit foreign to them. It doesn't feel. I mean, it is formal. You know, it is a vocation. It's not just kind of hanging about with your mates and training and stuff. It's quite different. But I find it super interesting that Parkour UK want to try and mesh these two together and kind of get each other talking a bit more and just see how they can help each other. So
yeah, I actually had an idea before for like, I think it would be a really cool app idea if you could like, you know, those little QR codes. If you could get a sticker QR code and just tag one on, like stick one on to every parkour spot in Dublin, say, and then like a kid who has the app can come along, scan his phone, and he can see clips and photos of that spot, of what's been done, even tutorials on like I remember Tim Sheaf did a video series, I think with Giles years ago in London, and they went through London spots and had like the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced options. And I think if you could do that with a QR code, like people would be walking around and they'd see it and they'd tag it and be like, wow, this is, you know, so it's almost like coaching without the coaching.
That's a cool idea, man. I mean, yeah, I've yet to complete Tim's challenges.
They're crazy.
Not that I've been to London very often, but yeah, I remember them being like pretty tough.
That was a good video series.
Yeah.
That's ahead of its time, I feel.
Yeah. Flow. I mean, Flow branched out into quite a few things. I mean,
yeah,
like the kind of community-focused episodes, going around the country and talking to different communities. That was great, actually. I really enjoyed those. But yeah, QR codes for spots. How would you need some like heavy-duty stickers then, like kind of on certain.
That's going to be an issue, isn't it? But I have like hard drives and hard drives and hard drives. I think I've been training like 8 or 9 years, and I've kept like every clip I ever have.
Wow.
So, and they've all been shot on cameras rather than like phones and GoPros. So I'm just waiting. I tried to do it with like a Google Maps link thing where you could do that, but I never got around to like filling it out. But I think that would be sick. The footage is there. I just need to like get my shit in line.
Yeah, you remind me of Giles. He said he's basically not deleted a single clip since he started filming. Which is mad. I respect for that, because I delete my clips all the time, because I just think, well, yeah. I mean, okay. When I've made something, when I've made like a kind of compilation or something, then I kind of think, right, it's, you know, I can get rid of it because it's online. But I guess that's a shallow view. But
I know, I get what you're saying. Like that, if the footage is there online and you think it's gonna like stay there online, then that makes sense. But like, I lost a lot of photos on Bebo, so things don't live forever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, some advice for like anyone who is like filming their parkour with a camera, I would say like, number 1, get a microphone, because the audio is important. And number 2, I would say, like, to film, don't just like hit record, get the line, hit stop. Like, film a little bit before and a little bit after, and the bits in between, the bits where you're traveling, you're talking to your friends, this and that. Because when I do go back into those hard drives and I'm looking at the footage, I always wish there was less of like me doing parkour and just me chatting with my mates, and like the footage of like the spots that are now gone. Like, it's all those in between moments that I think can be valuable when you're looking back on stuff. So just 2 little tidbits.
Like it. Yeah, because tell people about your job then. Tell people what you do.
I work in film. Mostly like, we're mostly making adverts, but I'd be editing 3 or 4 days a week, and then like cameraman once or twice a week, so we get a nice mix of both. And then you would think that because of that, I would make like these big, crazy, epic parkour videos. But generally, it gets to the weekend and I'm like, I don't want to see a camera and I don't want to see Adobe Premiere. So I end up just making Instagram clips. But at some stage, I'll mix the two and try to make an epic Dublin video.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be great. Yeah, man. Because I rewatched. So I rewatched the original Rush Hour advert with David Bell.
Oh, wait, what's Rush Hour?
Did you never see that?
No. Wait, it's not like District 13, no?
No. So I don't know when it came out, but it was very, very early because it's one of the first things I ever saw of parkour.
Okay.
It was a BBC advert that was about a minute and a half long, and it shows David like he's at work.
Oh, he's putting his shirt on and he has to yeah. I've seen it.
And everyone's like looking in the traffic, like looking up at the roofs. But hey, I watched it again. It is so well made. It's really, really good. Like I was kind of half joking to a friend that this 1.5 minute clip is better than 90% of all the content that's come out of parkour. And I was thinking like, why is it so good? And I think partly because it tells a story, like it does actually have a story aspect to it, which I love seeing in parkour videos. Any sort of story is great. But also just the alignment, the music is absolutely spot on, with the visuals and stuff, and throwing a couple of massive roof gaps. I'm
going to have to go back and rewatch
it's
that.
So, yeah, honestly, people rewatch it because it's, the quality's still good. It's not as good as things nowadays, but yeah, it really like inspired me because I thought, why aren't people making like these little 1.5, 2 minute like masterpieces like that?
That's interesting.
So yeah, man, if you delved into that field, like more of a kind of storytelling type thing, wow, that'd be awesome.
We actually, with my job, when at one stage it was really quiet, there wasn't too much work coming in, we did shoot like half of a project that we will finish, and it's cool. It's not quite that. It's not quite like an A to B linear story, but it was kind of like meant to be a project based around like inspiration. We wanted to actually mix like music and parkour, so like it would be me kind of like prepping a jump, struggling with a jump, failing, and then we wanted to have like a soundtrack essentially doing the same thing, the beats being formed, the rapper is like he's stumbling over his words, and we wanted to tie those two together like that, which I think has potential. Hopefully that doesn't ruin it, and hopefully we do follow through with it. I think we will. I
think you have to now. You said it. You said it.
Yeah. I'll show you. We have a little bit edited. I'll send it to you after this.
Yes, exclusive content. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I just think that, with the creativity of the community, it's kind of how I was talking about these weird ideas before early in the podcast. Like, they could be so good, but it's hard to kind of sell a strange idea and then have someone like yourself, who's a really good editor and filmographer, like videographer, who will think like, yeah, I trust that idea and I can go through with it and make it good. I think if we can just get past that, we could make some really interesting stuff, because there's so much, like at the moment we've kind of got, show reels, vlogs, documentaries. Am I missing anything? Like that's kind of...
No, there's like Instagram clips is the main one, isn't it? And it's like
Clippies, yeah.
Yeah, and they follow trends. I feel like there's like, we've gone away from kind of like the cinematic, which if it's mad when you watch like even older kind of 2005-ish parkour videos, like people were so cinematic, and there was these like crazy long intros that were a pain in the ass, but like some of the like the cameras they were using and like the color grading, and they're doing their black bars, like it looks cool. It looks seriously cool. And yeah, now it's like mainly phone compilations, which I feel like is a little bit of a step back, and it's going to be a weird step in history when you look at parkour videos. Hopefully the quality will like rise back up again.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's almost like a strange nostalgia now to, when you see kind of old camcorder type footage,
Yes, yes.
And it gives you that kind of weird sense of nostalgia. Well, I think almost in a way, 10 years time we'll look back on phone quality footage and we'll be like, whoa.
Ooh, yeah. Interesting.
Maybe. Because the quality has gone down again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
So, and it's slowly rising, people make stuff on their iPhone now and to a high quality. But overall it's quite low. Like, you get your little potato phone out, you film a clip and it's good enough for Instagram, and then you kind of...
Yeah, but back in the day, Jams, like everybody had a DSLR, which like I get that no one can afford, like not everyone can afford a fancy camera, not everyone wants it, but it was cool to see like, and I think like that, and that's how I got into filmmaking and photography and everything. Like it all started with, I was doing backflips on my trampoline and I was like 13 and I begged my dad to get me like one of those old shitty camcorders for Christmas, which he did, and it's still the most expensive. He said it's the most money he's ever spent on a Christmas gift. It was like it was like 300 quid to get me a little camcorder, and like I still have it up in my room. It still has all the footage on it because it had like a hard drive for some reason. So yeah.
Wow. Sick. That's cool.
Yeah. So now it's my profession. I think there's a lot of people like that, and like in the film industry, there's a lot of people come from skateboarding, come from like snowboarding, biking, extreme sports, because of that like DIY film it yourself attitude.
Have you seen much of Kipper's stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, they go for the like mini DV tape camcorder style, which I love it. Like I love their videos. They're probably the ones I go back to the most. Really? I think so, just because it's such a feel good vibe. It's like it's not epic. It's like the opposite. It's like friendly and like accessible. But I do think
still very good. Yeah,
it's so good. I do think that they kind of like implanted that style from skateboarding though. With the camcorders, it's super cool though.
Yeah, because I imagine, because your style is actually quite similar to some of the stuff they do, I would say.
Yeah, what, movement wise or like filming?
Movement wise, yeah, movement wise.
Yeah. That actually, you're probably right. That they probably are a big influence. Definitely. Is it Joel or Joel?
I think it's. I want to say Joel Larson.
I think it's Joel.
He's a tank, man.
Yeah. Man, like that actually, that's how I would like to move.
Well, you move super fast.
Yeah, I don't feel like I am. People say that a lot. Yeah.
Like as in, you mentioned the speed competition before and stuff, and you don't. I mean, from my perspective, your style is quite kind of lines, like moving about a spot in different ways, very fluidly, involving different flips and tricks and stuff. But man, your speed, what the hell? Like you don't do it very calmly. Like
it's wild.
It's
yeah,
it is. It's mad. Like
so yeah. I the only like explanation I can give for that is I played rugby for 10 years. And I was on the wing, and like that's how I used to run on people. Like, and I was never like, I wasn't going around people. I was going like through the middle, you know. And if it's gas. I'm not 100% sure if this is why this is, but I still run. If you look at me run, one of my elbows is bent and one arm is straight. And when I said it to my dad, I was like, "You're still holding the rugby ball," which is ridiculous.
Wow.
But I definitely like 100% no doubt I got mindset from rugby, because like if you run into a challenge, I think it's actually the same with football. If you run into a challenge 90% with like a little bit of trepidation about what might happen, you're probably going to get injured. But if you run 100% full speed, full commitment, you're almost always going to come out, not always, but like you've definitely got a higher chance of coming out okay. It's the ones where you hesitate, that's when you hurt yourself.
Damn. So yeah, no wonder you're so fast. You've been absolutely flying down the wings away from these massive guys.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow, that's sick, man. That's really interesting. Yeah, I guess maybe there's a sense of like bracing as well. In rugby you kind of have to brace for impact, and in parkour you have to brace for impact in different ways.
Yeah. But as I never feel like I'm going that fast, and then I see it and I'm like, oh, and people tell me, but then also everything feels a bit smoother, and then when I watch it back I feel like it looks a bit clunky. But,
nah.
Okay.
I think that's such a common thing. Like I actually have the opposite feeling. I do. So I'll do something, and then I'll watch it like back straight away, and I think, oh, it looks a bit shit. Doesn't look very good. I could have done that better. And then I think to myself like, but that felt good. And then I watch it back on my computer like hours later with fresh eyes. And I think, actually, that was all right. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, I think like that's my rule for like putting up clips or whatever. It's like if it felt good, like if you were happy when you did it, you put that clip up. Like it doesn't matter about anything else. It's like if that was an achievement, then it's good. It doesn't matter if like you slid when you stuck the jump or you didn't like what your arm was doing, or like did you feel good when you did it? It's like yeah. I think that's a good. Yeah, if you're starting to feel like the line or the run or whatever it is you're doing is like a chore, I think you're in slightly murky territory there. Because then it's just like you're just working. You're not enjoying it. Yeah, big time.
Anyway, we're rattling through this one. We've already been going for 45 minutes, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to our questions because I got quite a lot of questions. You know.
Oh geez.
Yeah. I put it up today, and I've had a number of questions from the community. So
from people, Jesus, I don't think anyone knows who I am.
Nah, man. So we'll go through them now, I guess, because we'll start now because we'll have to try and get through them all. Okay. I think some might be a bit silly and maybe inside jokes that I don't understand, but we'll try. Okay, so thank you for sending them in, Instagram people. The first one is from Joshua Cool. Or Joshua Ari Cool. I'm not sure.
A good old Northern Irish boy.
Yeah. He asks you, what are your favourite Irish parkour athletes, past and present?
Past and present?
Who, sorry, not what. Who?
God, I'm like super inspired with everybody I train with. I don't know too many, like, I don't know if there is really a community past. I mean, there's a few guys who have fallen out of training, but the guys I train with, like Pickles is, as I mentioned earlier, Robin, Aaron Reardon, and then up north there's like George, James Dixon, and James and Paul Allen, who I did Ireland's Got Talent with. They are just super inspiring. And like it's super nice when the Dublin and the Belfast community meet. That happens, or it used to happen, a couple of times a year. Hopefully we get to meet up soon because it's always a good jam. And there's a ton of guys in Dublin that I just left out, but my brain is blanking.
No worries. On a similar note, the next question is from...
Oh, and Josh, who asked the question. I'm inspired by you.
Nice. The next question is from photographyathax.rva06. Long one. They just ask, why are people saying what? It's who. Who is your favorite? They said, what is your favorite YouTuber? Who is your favorite YouTuber?
I don't watch a ton of videos. I'm pretty basic. I watch Star and I watch Modus. And I honestly think that might be it. I go in and out of Jimmy the Giant. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry,
me too.
that was a very basic answer, I realised, but yeah.
Fair enough.
I try not to watch YouTube, honestly, because it's a black hole and you won't get shit done in life.
True.
I listen to podcasts because I can do stuff. I can stretch. I can drive. I can be outside in the fresh air. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. Good man. That's a great answer. Mr. Matt McCreary asks,
a good friend.
He says, David, can you give an honest review on the current Irish community and send my love?
I think I did that earlier. We're small. Like, I'm gonna talk about Dublin. As I said, there's about 10 people who train regularly. But like the level is super high, and I'm really excited for like UK practitioners, European practitioners to come over, because I think like they will be shocked. It's like we're a tight knit group, and maybe that has been a barrier to entry for a lot of people who might want to join. There's like a small group of us, and the level is like crazy high, and that could be intimidating when people watch videos. They might not want to message in and say, hey, where are you guys training? Because if you do message me, like, we'll meet up, we'll train, but it doesn't happen too often. So yeah, I think there's no real tiers. It's kind of like people who've been training for like 7 to 10 years, and then there's nothing, you know, which is a bit of a problem.
Food for thought, definitely. Yeah.
And if you have any ideas, Sam, on how to like inspire that next generation, that would be fantastic. We almost need like a group to come, you know, because it needs to be almost like a group of fresh faces who can like push each other and have each other at that same level.
That's it, man. I mean, that's the tricky thing with beginners. It's like you've got to be one brave motherfucker to just go out by yourself and go up to you lot and just say, can I come and train with you? Like that's like 1 in 10,000, 100,000, like legit, because that not many people do that. Very, very few people do that. It takes a lot of bravery. But then if you have a small group and you start building, then it can kind of amass, and people feel more comfortable because they're not comparing themselves to the really talented lot. I mean, honestly, like coaching is a way to do this. Coaching is a way to start bringing up the grassroots kind of people. And if you've got that inspiration on tap, like that's valuable. It's really valuable, because kids will listen to you if you're doing stuff like huge bush jumps and stuff like that.
Maybe I'll start charging people to like, I'll just chuck them into the bush from the wall. I'm like, €5 cough up.
But yeah, I think I could spend a long time thinking about that, but I think that coaching has, again, I keep hammering it home, like so much potential for growing communities that we're just overlooking.
Big time.
And yeah, I don't know. I have to think harder on that one, but I will. Dean, who we talked about before, he asks, this is kind of similar, but he says, what is special about Ireland? Why should I come over and train? And he put in brackets, I mean this in a nice way.
We have a serious amount of spots that like are super unique, I think. And good people. The two things we talked about earlier, spots and people, we've got both.
Come on.
But yeah, there's a ton of untapped spots in Dublin, and I'm like dying. Like, we get so few visitors. We're kind of on the outskirts of Europe, and I'm just like, there are spots that like I've just been dying to see, you know, top athletes, including Dean, come over and just like see what they come up with, as you were saying earlier. And just see like with their fresh eyes what they can do at our spots. So yeah, and if you do that, I'll personally make a sick video for you. So that's my offer. Yeah,
there we go.
I'll go full cameraman mode for the day, and we'll make something cool. Yeah.
Okay, all the exclusives coming out today. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for this, because I came over with my good friend David Fox in 2018.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met you guys, and we had a blast. It was great. There's some.
That was a sick
You're
day.
Right. There are some interesting. Was it just one day?
Yeah, I think so. But we visited a few spots. I think we got kicked out of a few different places.
Oh, there was that guy who was not happy.
Yeah,
with that,
yeah.
Like the kind of drawbridge
It was like
jump.
Yeah. I haven't done that ever still. I haven't been back there. Yeah.
Sketchy one.
I'll do that for you and send you a video in the next week or two.
Yeah, man. But that spot, I love that spot, like with the big slide, like the kind of slope that I was like sliding down and stuff.
That was Trinity College, Dublin, if anyone wants to visit. And get kicked out by an angry man. He's waiting there. He's been waiting for the last 3 years for you to come back. He's probably watching this podcast.
Oh God, he's still got a grudge. Damn. But yeah, I can vouch for that, Dean. The sea, is it called Seafront? No, sorry.
Sea Point.
Sea Point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't far off. Wicked spot. So nice. And I love any spot that's close to water, like the ocean, or there's something just very, very chill, very calm about it. And I love that spot. It was great.
I feel like, I don't know if it's the same in the UK, but like all our best spots are the city centre and then the coast, because that's where like weird architecture happens, it seems. Like you're not getting much in the suburbs, but it's like the city centre, the older stuff. And then on the coast, like architects just get a bit wacky. They're like, let's just put some weird curves and like concrete benches and bizarre shapes here. And I feel like it's the same with you guys. I noticed like Brighton and then like London are like the hot spots.
Bridlington, like I you might not have seen it, but yeah, there's a group from the northeast called Team Reality.
Yeah,
and they
I remember Danny was at the competition.
Yeah, and Bridlington is this little coastal town, and it's got this awesome spot that, again, it looks, you're right, actually, it looks quite bizarre, but it looks like it's for parkour, like it's crazy.
Those coastal architects are getting too much sea spray, too much salt in their brains, and they get a bit freaky.
Yeah, man. Cool. Let's move on. So I don't know what this means, but it's from Ryan Taggart. He responded with like yes in capitals. He was very, very happy to see that you were coming on. So that's good. But his question is, will David tell his wife how he won medals down in Flanders?
I have no idea what that means. I legitimately have no idea what that means.
Like,
wow.
I'm not joking. That's what it says. It says,
is that a reference to something?
It must be. And sorry, Ryan, but both of us don't understand this.
Should I Google that? Oh no, I'm not even gonna bother. No.
I think it sounds like vaguely like offensive.
Yeah. Will I Google it?
But he said, will he tell his wife how he won medals down in Flanders? And Flanders is like the war, right?
I was going to ask you that. Is that like a battleground? We weren't.
There's people listening who are like,
oh, okay.
Idiots.
I think it's I think so. Yeah, it's it's God. About how like the Brits like colonized us and then we fought back. It's it's something about it's from the song "Come Out Ye Black and Tans," who were like,
fuck me.
We won't touch it. We're friends here. That time is past. I'm actually my dad's Welsh. I'm actually half British, so.
Okay. Interesting. Damn, Ryan. What a scoundrel. Anyway, yeah, let's move on from that. And I have actually heard that song, by the way.
It's a good tune. It's
on an Alan Partridge sketch, and it did make me laugh a lot. Anyway, next one is from Pickles.
My man.
Yeah, he said, just ask David when is your hamstring going to be better?
That's a good question. I actually think it's better. I was doing all these exercises my physio gave me, like doing them every day, just drilling it, like doing everything I should, and it wasn't really getting better. And then I went for like a long run the other day. I did like probably 8k, and I woke up today. Yesterday I went for the run. Woke up today like sore from the run, but like my hamstring pain is like nearly gone. So I don't know what that's about. I do you ever find this is a weird question, but like sometimes I'll have an injury, like a wrist injury for like 2 or 3 months, and I like stay off it. I like nurse it. It's not getting better. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna train. And then like within like a week of like going hard on the injury, it just gets better. Is that unique to me? I don't know.
I don't think so, but I think it definitely relates to the idea that rest is not always the best medicine. You know, you need to do something. You need to get things working in there, get things strengthened up in there. And so
sometimes after all the rest and the icing and the strengthening, it just needs that reminder of like what is required of it. Like I have to tell my wrist like we're doing dive kongs, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what we do, before it like falls back into the line. I know it sounds a bit crazy.
So like talking to your hands.
Just slamming them off stuff. Get them nice and tough.
Yeah, man. Okay, so the last question is from Gar Scott.
Yes. We worked in a trampoline park together briefly.
They ask, how much better was Jump Zone Santry?
Way worse. Mutants. Let me tell you about Jump Zone Santry. They are not even, you know, there's like Springfield and Shelbyville. They're not even Shelbyville. They're Ogdenville. They're like the worst mutants there are. So yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just trampoline park beef.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I see.
You can cut that out. You can cut that out if you need to.
I have no idea. It doesn't affect me, but it sounds juicy.
There was a bit of a rivalry.
Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all the questions. Yeah, nice bunch there.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for sending those in. Apart from Ryan.
trying to bring up old, forgotten. No, it's actually not forgotten. I don't know. Moving on.
We'll move on. Yeah, cool. I think we're kind of done there, man. I have a couple of other things I had on the list. So I had sort of, because you're really good at flips, I was going to ask you, have you taught or have any tips for your favorite tricks?
Okay.
But that was kind of, and then I was going to ask you about kind of how you break mental barriers. Oh, also, do you do infographics?
For like,
because I was watching the Bold, your company's.
Oh yeah. I would do some animation in After Effects. Yeah.
One of my questions was, are infographics the future of education?
Interesting. I mean, definitely animation keeps people interested. I think of an infographic as like they've been using them a lot on like Instagram now, where you like flick through the slides and it's like,
okay,
it's just like text, but it's like really beautified. I think of that as like an infographic, which they're kind of getting on my nerves now. I like them at the start, but I've seen a couple that I'm like, this is kind of outrageous, but people are sharing it because it looks nice. Anyway, I'm not going to touch on that.
Yeah, I think I maybe used the wrong word, maybe, but I kind of you know what I'm on about, right? Like kind of the animation type.
Like animation with text and
like Kyrgyzstan. Is it Kyrgyzstan? What are they called? They're a huge like YouTube channel that, their videos get millions of views and they're just very, very well made animated educational videos. I just wonder how much that'll be a thing moving forward, because I think there's so much potential for art and technology and education to all come together and make just awesome, accessible stuff, which I guess is happening. It's happening. I mean,
I love when it's mixed. Do you ever watch the YouTube channel Nerdwriter 1? He does like video essays on like all different topics, but he'll have like parts that are kind of vloggy where he's got his microphone, he's talking to the camera, but then he animates really well. He'll have like video clips, photos. I think anything to switch it up. That's kind of the goal with those things. If you're trying to educate people for 10-15 minutes, like you can't just come at them with one style, repeated, one format. It's got to be multimedia, everything, whatever suits that certain little chunk of information the best. You've got to bring a whole new style. I think that's how you keep people interested and informed.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Let's ask it in this way. Yeah. So tell me what your favorite kind of move or flip is to do, and then give us a tip. Give us a tip on that front.
So I feel like I'm kind of I have a bit of a like frozen body. Like I'm kind of like, I can be like straight or like starfish or like tuck. I don't do like the trickery things well. I've been trying to learn like touchdown raises, but like my body feels like it doesn't move in all those different ways. So I stick to like kind of straight line stuff. I find front flips super easy. I always have. I've always just found it easy to tuck really tight. And my big tip for front flips to people is, a lot of people grab the top of the knee, but when I do a front flip, I grab my socks. I'm grabbing my ankles, and a lot of people don't do that. They don't think to do that, but yeah, if you watch my front flips, I'm literally tucking by grabbing my socks. And yeah, the first couple of times you do that, just make sure you're on something soft, because you don't want to over rotate, and it has happened to me.
I guess, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, you'd be tucking even tighter, I guess.
I find front tucks really easy, and then back tucks I actually kind of struggle with to get in that tight. I don't know why.
Any other kind of moves or kind of go-tos that you do regularly that you could give any tips for? I
feel like side flips and back falls are my go-tos, and it actually irritates me. I like end up adding them in every line. I treat my side flips, I do that with the gather step. If I don't know if you know what that is, but if I'm trying to coach a side flip, I always tell people to think about how a basketballer dunks. They do, it's like it's not quite a punch. You get like a punch with the front flip, but the dunk, it's like you get really low and you do that like almost like semi gallop thing before you pop up, and I think that's the best side flip cue ever, to get people thinking of it like staying low and then popping, rather than that front flip where you like almost do a little hop beforehand.
Yeah, I was actually teaching that yesterday, like with kind of plyometric technique, like galloping into it, to get loads of height.
Basketballers are great to watch for that. Their limbs are so long as well. It's like everything's exaggerated. It's like it's like you're teaching someone with a cartoon, because like you can just see everything so clearly.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thanks for that. Yeah, I think we're done there. Unless there's anything you wanna shout out, or you wanna talk about, or.
I will say, so we formed a little page in Dublin. It's called @TheseBogies on Instagram. Yeah, the bogey page, These Bogies. So that's like our little team in Dublin. We're gonna be sharing like community videos there.
Okay.
And yeah, we're hoping to keep pumping out a bit of content so you can keep up with us all on one page.
Okay. Why the name?
It's just like, it's kind of a Dublin expression, like you're who, like these bogies. It's just like, it's not quite offensive, it's not quite endearing, it's somewhere in between.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Like rascals, kind of like.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're being a complete bogey right now, like you're.
Yeah. Like Ryan Taggart.
Ryan Taggart is such a bogey. Ugh.
Much love to him. Yeah. Cool. All right, David.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was good. Thank you for listening to me as well. I tend to if people allow me, then I do kind of ramble a little bit. So thank you for that.
No, it's a pleasure.
Wicked. If you enjoyed listening, guys, yeah, you can go and follow. You can go and follow on Spotify. You can go and subscribe on YouTube. Send us some love. Go and check out David's stuff. It'll all be in the descriptions. Go and find that. I'm also, as I mentioned in the previous couple of episodes, I've started a buy me a coffee thing. So any small donations, I don't get monetized or sponsored for these, and I put quite a lot of work in. So any small donations this way, as if you'd be buying me a coffee. I don't like coffee, but as if you'd be buying me that. Or a little beer, yeah. Then that'd be lovely, and it will keep me on track and keep me focused to pursue this podcasting journey, which I'm just having a blast with, really enjoying. And yeah, thank you, listeners. Thank you, David. Till next time.